Awesome.
Calm, cool, and collected.
Stacy Wallace, Laura Wells, Mike Rogers, and Carrie Tremmel. We are having a great Stremmel.
Strimmel.
Bimmel. Started out wrong. I took another turn. I'm telling you, we did start out wrong. Google was having a glitch. Have you ever had one of those glitches where everything freezes up? Well, that's what just happened. Thank you guys for being able to shuck and jive and go back into a different Google Hangout for us. We're excited today because we've got a hot topic. The hot topic is how to market your business online through garage sales, expos, trade shows, bridal shows, baseball games, kiosks. There's some great ways this summer for you to get out and get social. And so what I'm going to do is we're going to just kind of bounce this around in conversation format. We've got some other folks as well. Oh, my goodness. Ricardo Gloria, let me get him back in here. Boom. See if we can get him back in there as well. Because we have got some great things that are going on all over the United States. People are getting out, getting their incredible Solavei gear on, and making Solavei very social. I'll show you guys here before Ricardo pops on. This right here is Ricardo's garage sale. I'm actually over on his Facebook page there. Let me see if I can pull up a couple of others, because I thought it was really hot the way he was out there sharing Solavei. They did a garage sale this weekend. See if you guys can pop and see that one as well. Out front of their house, of course, Ryan Lauf showed up with his fancy car, and pretty cool there. But they were rocking it at their garage sale this weekend. Had a lot going on, and look at what they did. They totally tricked it out. So these are just a few ideas that we are going to give you today on how you can market your Solavei business, just kind of thinking outside the box. So I'm going to pop over. First off, Carrie, I understand there's been some pretty cool things going on in your world. Tell us, well, let me do this, because this is your first time to be on one of our Hangouts. You are one of Laura Wells' rock stars in the Boom team. And so, Laura, I'm going to let you go ahead and give her the honors of introduction. Tell us about Carrie, and then go ahead and interview her on what's going on with her Solavei business.
I love it. Yeah, and I asked Carrie to be on here because she is one of our superstars. Carrie is actually a good friend of mine. I've known her for several years. We met at a networking event, and Carrie is one of those friends of mine that ignored me for a long time and blew it off, was not interested, do not talk to me. But she came to her senses very quickly, and she has just been kicking butt. I mean, truly, since she really started going all in. She started putting her mind to it, and I'm so excited to hear her share, because her talent is really connecting face-to-face with people. When you actually get face-to-face with Carrie, you really start to understand who she is, and so that's why she's doing so great with these fairs and booths and expos that she does. She just attracts people to her, and her booths always look beautiful, but it's Carrie that really sets the tone for her booths. I'm really excited to see what tips and nuggets she has to share with everybody. So.
Awesome. Well, Carrie, tell us what's going on and how, first off, what made you think of doing this? How are you utilizing it to support your business? And what are some secret tips that you're finding? Obviously, the more we do, tomorrow night I'm going to be talking about nonprofit organizations. I have had 12 appointments this week with various nonprofit organizations, and the more you do, the more you realize what not to do, and the more you realize what works. And so, obviously, that's happening for you guys as well. Tell us what's working.
I think, and thank you for having me. I'm just super excited. This is so much fun. But I think what's really working is realizing that when you go out and meet people, you're also meeting their networks, and that's a huge thing. So when you go to a fair, yes, you want to talk to those people and you want to get them in, but it might not be for them, but it may be for their sister. And I've definitely had stuff like that happen where, oh, this is, just not for me right now, but I have somebody that's great for you. So you have to get out, and you have to just get yourself out there. When I started my first booth, I was really nervous because I didn't have a lot of stuff. I hooked up with my team, and I borrowed a banner. I did simple things, like I went to Party City, and they have these little Frisbees. and you can put your stickers on them, and the kids love these. So if the kids come to your booth, the parents come into your booth. So little things like that, you know, I did, but I just have so many tips and stuff that I'm just bursting with information here. But some of the big key things is simple is really, really good. It doesn't have to be extravagant. So start with what you have, and then you can add later, but just get out there and do it. The second tip that I have is I go to quite a few of these, and I'm really shocked by how many people that are running a booth are standing behind the booth or even sitting in a chair. You know, that to me is just a big no-no, because you're not going to get people coming to you. So I stand in front of my table, actually, in front of my booth, attract people in. Hey, that's a nice cell phone. Hey, do you have a cell phone? Works every single time. They come in and they're like, yeah, I have a cell phone. Well, great. Is that cell phone bill free every month? Well, no, and they're very, very intrigued at that point. So I bring them in. Lately, since I have the Share Solavei site, I just have my computer up with my website playing the video, and I just have them input their information right there. That way they automatically go in. But you can, you know, I started with like simple flyers, you know, name, address, phone. So simple really does work, especially when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's just getting the information and connecting with them.
So let's just jump back real fast to hold up your little things again.
My frisbees?
Okay, your little frisbees. Yeah. And so those aren't even branded necessarily, but they're the color scheme. So you're just keeping it simple. So let's just walk through, for example, because there's a couple of nuggets that you just shared there that we want to highlight on. Number one, brand your booth. What are some of the things that you're using? You know, obviously we can look over here. We see that the Glorias, Ricardo and Claudia, they have gone all out. I mean, they've got the tent, they've got the banners, they've got the tablecloth, they've got cell phones to sign people up immediately, but not everybody is going to that extravagance. What are you doing, Carrie, when you're in a setting like that?
So I'm keeping it a bit more simple, and one thing I always have is SIM cards. Do not think that somebody's not going to sign on the spot right there at a booth. Maybe not every time you go, but take SIM cards. They're with me everywhere. That's one thing. And you can keep it simple. I have streamers in the color. Decorate your table with that. I have these. I always put out a t-shirt with a logo on it. I have my cell phone box from my phone. I just put that. This box has attracted so many people. There's nothing in it. I use my phone, but the box has really, you know, draw people in. Oh, that's a nice phone. I want to see that, you know. So I go simple is what I do. And my setup, honestly, 5 to 10 minutes. Put my table, put my banner out, put my little frisbees to decorate the table. I mean, computer up. It's so simple.
So if you're, the second thing, so number one, brand your booth. So are you wearing a t-shirt, wearing a shirt?
All the time.
Okay, come on, show it, baby.
All the time.
Woo! Boom. That's what we say about that. I see, Mike, obviously you're branded. I'm branded. Of course, Laura just has to show up with that hair, and she's branded too. So wearing the brand is very, very important. In fact, you guys, it's so precious. You know you have arrived when your child, my child this week, I feel like I've truly arrived in a whole new level of stratospherial Solavei zone. When your child says, Mommy, do you think next week we could try to go the whole week without wearing Solavei? Do you think that we could just go 1 week without you wearing anything Solavei? I said, oh, what big, because you guys know I'm all about life balance, right? I was like, oh, honey, do you not like Solavei? She goes, oh, no, I love Solavei, but, you know, like, every now and then I'd like to see you in something different. And so I felt like, okay, I have arrived. I've literally worn too much Solavei around my children. And just be the brand. Wear the brand. And then actually make sure that you're showing up. I love what you said, Carrie, about get out from behind the brand. Don't hide behind a booth. If you guys watch my fishing training, you know, one thing that Mr. Crappie said is don't just sit in the middle of a lake expecting the fish to come to you. Go where the fish are. And so the same thing is if you're sitting at a booth and you're just sitting there with your little fold-up chair and waiting for people to go, oh my word, I've heard about Solavei, I want to sign up. That's not the way it happens. So you've got to go where the fish are. You've got to be kind. You've got to make yourself friendly. You've got to be willing to get out of your box. And for some of you, that might be difficult. But you know what? Create a pseudo-self for the day. Even if you have to kind of go in some kind of outfit that lets you just be someone that you're not. Be confident. Be bold. Connect with people. Just know the majority of them are struggling financially and overspending on their cell service, let alone what you're going to be able to save them through Solavei Marketplace in the future. Okay, Laura, I know you've got some tips as well, and you've got folks on your team that have been doing this. Tell us what are you seeing happening now? Carrie, is Carrie the one that you said is doing bridal shows as well?
Yeah,
okay.
Carrie's done several of them actually.
So what are you finding some of the most productive events have been for your team?
I mean, you know, bridal shows are good. I think that, honestly, it doesn't really even matter. I know of several who have done, like, trade days. It's kind of a, I don't know if every location has them, but trade days are kind of like a flea market even. I think any place, any event that has foot traffic. But you've also got to make sure that the demographic is right. So, and tailor what you're doing, tailor what you're saying, and even the way that your booth looks. To that demographic. So for example, if it was a bridal fair, and I'd love for Carrie to share how she does that, but I would think for a bridal fair, you're speaking to people who are excited about starting a new life, getting married, and it's a good way to segue into Solavei of getting started on the right foot, saving money, spending money where, you know, in a smart way, even setting up more income to pay for that wedding and to add additional income. So I think that it doesn't really matter what the venue is, so as long as there's a lot of foot traffic and the demographic is set to where you know who you're going to be speaking to and that you're comfortable presenting it to, you know, whoever you're talking to. The people matter more than the venue. I think that's the most important part of that.
Well, maybe let's just jump over real quick to Carrie. Mike, I'm going to pull you back here in just a second as well. Carrie, what would you say is, you know, obviously not every venue is created equal, and I've done a ton of trade shows and expos in my life, and I definitely know that positioning is important, making sure you're positioned at your booth is important, connecting with other booth owners, walking the expo, all of these things are very important. In looking at the different events that you've done, what would you say is your favorite type of event? Is it marathons, expos, trade shows, bridal shows? What would you say are your favorites with regards to how you're connecting with Solavei?
Well, I do have to say the bridal is really my favorite. I love to see that they're getting started out, and what happens a lot is they're on their parents' plans typically. They may be even in their, you know, later 20s or 30s, but they're still on a parent's plan somewhere, but they really want to get out on their own. They're going to get married. They want to have some of that responsibility. So when they're looking at switching their cell phone, they're staying because that's what they've always done. Now they have an option that's not, you know, extremely expensive, not expensive at all, and they can earn to free. So I love to be able to get them out on the right foot in that way. Another thing about bridal fairs, and there's some others that do this, but I love that you get the list. So that's important to me. At bridal shows, the brides register, and not all shows will give you the list. So I do try to make sure that the money I'm spending is going to get well used. So the last bridal show I did, there was say 350 registered brides. I may not see all those brides, but I got that list so that I can now work with their emails and their phone numbers and get their interest in Solavei. So that's honestly one good reason why I like bridal shows. And I just connect well with that atmosphere, I think.
And so how do you get that list?
They email it to you. So after the end of the show, the company that provides the show will email the vendors who purchased that particular plan of the show. They'll just email you that list in like an Excel format, and you have the entire list of all the registered brides.
Well, I'm going to just jump over here to Mike real quick. I was trying to find a site. I've got a couple of guys, Ryan Lauf, Jason Smith, and others. I was trying to find some stuff on their Facebook to show you guys. We've got folks that have kiosks in malls. some that are completely tricked out. They've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on branding and getting everything up. We've got folks who have just basically gotten the tent, kind of like what you saw with Ricardo Gloria, and put it out at their kids' baseball games. And, you know, everybody's looking for shade and everybody's looking for water. So, you know, if you want to invite some of the other mothers or fathers to come over and sit underneath your tent, basically they just went to Academy and bought the big purple, I guess those are called canopy tents, and just put some Solavei stickers on them, got them branded, and are sitting there, you know, offering shade. Remember, again, back to that fishing training, is offering the right bait. I mean, if you're in the middle of the hot sun, maybe have water there. Maybe have shade and say, and, you know, you get people sitting by you, and next thing you know, you're strumming up a conversation, and they say, what is Solavei? I see it everywhere. Obviously, Ryan Lelf and Caroline Lelf, they've branded their car. Judy, who just we just had her as the wrap of the week. Her car, Mike, F350, huge, ginormously, astronomically gigantrous vehicle, completely wrapped. I mean, really, all you have to do is show up. So for outdoor events, those are really great. Mike, let's just jump over to you and find out what are some of the strategies that you're using. First off, I love the fact that you are at the #1 expo trade show location in all of Tulsa. That guy behind you right there is the Tulsa oil rigger dude, and he's obviously an icon there in Tulsa. But you are right there on the fairgrounds. Tell us, what are you doing and what are you finding that's working? And tell us also, you might need to step out and show us that vehicle.
I was actually just thinking about doing that. You know, it's placement by purpose, Stacy. I'm here because I'm serious about Solavei, and if you're going to go somewhere big. Go where the most traffic is. Invest in not just setting up the right booth, but getting at the right location. I've got several tips. I'll just run down the list real quick, and then I'll take out and give you a parameter view of my truck. Partner with other booth owners, like you said earlier. Do a treasure hunt. Make a card where you have to get a stamp from different vendors that are not competitors, that are complementary to what you're doing with Solavei, and offer a prize collectively with all of the other vendors, like an iPad or something. And at the end of the passport or treasure map or whatever it is where you get your stamps, have a little information card that they have to drop in your bucket, and then share that information with the people that are your partnered booths. Warm bodies, we got warm bodies. So if you have a booth and you don't have anybody in it, nobody's going to want to come to it. You want to have something where people see activity and they're ready to come be a part of that because they see something transpiring. So if you're just dead air and you're not doing anything or talking to anyone, then it's not going to be as productive for you. Bring some people with you. Have people that are in the other booths that are on their breaks come over and chat with you. Offer them a slice of pizza whenever they're on their break. Have some pizza ready for them. Whatever you got to do. Provide drinks for people, but keep people there, because whenever there's warm bodies there, more warm bodies will follow. Branding is super important. We have the honor and the privilege of being behind one of the best brands, I think, that exists today. They've got millions of dollars invested in this brand. It's a billion-dollar brand. So promote it properly. Don't just slap anything together. Make sure it looks right. It's got the right colors. A big banner with a very clear message is important. You've got to have a simple, easy to understand message that's very short and not too wordy. A lot of people put out these signs with all of this description on them, and people have to like stop and read it to actually see what you're talking about. If you got BAM, mobile, man, they're going to stop and be like, yeah, I know what that's about. You're catching glances all the time while you're at the booth, right? So people are walking by and they're glancing around, they're looking, but you got to stop them before they move on to the next glance, because it's when you capture their attention that they'll be drawn in. We also think that location is very important. You want to be in a dead zone. You want to be in a corner where there's a lot of traffic funneled to it. So pick your location very carefully. Draw the look. You got to get people to look at what you're doing. So what Carrie was saying earlier about standing in front of the table, if you have a table at all, put it behind you and display your products and put your cell phones or SIM cards out there or brochures with a little stand or whatever you're doing, and make that information available, but let yourself and what you're wearing be the forefront of the communication. Because if you're just sitting there and you're focused on your laptop and you're not engaging people visually or meeting them in the eyes, they're not going to be as drawn into your booth. You want to stand out. You don't want to just stand out at the show. You want to stand out after the show. Follow up is so important. Send them a pineapple and tell them it's like a trip to Hawaii to be on Solavei. Whatever you got to do to make yourself stand out, do something that's different than what everybody else is doing that's going to stick out in their mind. They're going to be like, you know what, I'm going to call that pineapple dude with the phones because that was pretty creative and I want to see more about what he's doing. If you're selling phones at the trade show or at your booth, don't offer them bags to carry this stuff in. You want them to carry that phone where other people can see it, because whenever they're walking around the trade show, somebody's going to see that. If you have a Solavei sticker on there, they'll be like, where'd you get that at? Where's the Solavei booth at? Give them something that they're going to carry that's going to draw people back to you, because they're your traveling billboards for the show. You want to see something in my truck, Stace? I'll pull it out and let you take a peek at it.
Okay, here we go, rodeo. Watch this, you guys.
Make my screen a little bit bigger so they can see this is a huge truck.
It is a very big truck, F-350.
Can you make my video a little bigger? Can you flip us back?
You're big.
We need like a wide angle.
There we go.
Woo!
Wow.
I love that thing. I call it the Purple Beast because it truly is the Purple Beast, and it's causing so much buzz in Tulsa. I see people talking about it on Facebook, not knowing that it's my truck. And it does so great for us. We signed up probably 5 people in the first 24 hours just because of the truck.
That is awesome.
Not all of it's because of just seeing us on the street. Some of it's because they've been working with me for a year and just never signed up. And they said, if you're that committed, I want to be on your team. So, get committed and be all in. My battery's about to die, just so you guys know. I'm not leaving because I don't want to be on the social.
Well, Mike, those are some great tips. Let me just review a little bit about what Mike said. And first off, Mike, I know I've heard the same thing from folks who are branding their vehicles, that they're getting instantaneous response. And many of them have had people in their local area that have heard, even sometimes not from them, but have heard about Solavei, and when they see the commitment of, oh my goodness, that person is all in, they get on very quickly and say, wait a minute, okay, I'm taking this serious now. Let's jump back real quick on what you were talking about at the expo. And number one, I love everybody, remember, you are not there to give information, you're there to get information. So if you're just there saying Solavei, 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 and they walk away and they think of Solavei, they're not going to be connected to you. They're just going to remember Solavei. So when Mike drives up with his big truck, they're going to go, oh, I saw somebody at the bridal show. Yeah, I'll sign up with you. You're all in, right? You want to make sure that you are getting their cards, their information, and some of the best ways to do that is doing a giveaway right there at your booth. Giving away a free HTC One S, giving away a free iPhone 5, whatever it is that you determine. And Mike had a great idea. Maybe pool that with some of the other folks and say, we'll share the leads. I'll give you everything that comes into my bowl. I'll give you access to them because they're a part of the treasure hunt, meaning that they're going to stop at all those people's booths. So it's not weird that they would get a call or an email from those booths, because every one of the booths could say, hey, thanks for being a part of our treasure hunt at the Tulsa Expo. Really excited to let you know more about Solavei, and that's your way of connecting. You put them through your Share Solavei site. You can put them through your Solavei.com site, Outreach Manager, but make sure that you're gathering information. So I'd call that the first B, the power of the bowl. Make sure you have a fishbowl there that you're collecting information, and do a giveaway. Number 2, he said bold, not bowl, bold. Make sure that whatever you're doing, that they recognize the boldness of the brand, and make sure that you are also giving something. Okay, you're getting their information, and maybe you've got flyers or business cards that you're putting in their hand, making sure that they walk away with your brand as well. So you're getting their information, you're leaving them the brand, and make sure you do it with excellence, right? If you are going to have a banner, make sure it's not like 1,000 words everywhere and crazy busy, but make sure you're making the statement, make it bold, and then make sure that you're giving them something in their hand to walk away with that has your personal linked information, that if they want to go online, that they'll get coded to you. Remember, and I got to tell you, I've looked at a lot of cars that people are branding Solavei, but they weren't doing a real good job of getting people attracted to their link. They weren't doing a call to action. I had someone who literally didn't have anything but Solavei on their car. And I was like, that is awesome for Solavei. That's going to drive Solavei attention, but that's not necessarily going to give people an ability to join your team. So if you're going to spend, $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 on wrapping your vehicle, make sure you're getting ROI, return on your investment, by doing that. Another thing that he said was another B. Be positioned properly. Make sure that you're positioning yourself, even the expo. When you're looking, where can you be? Find out what the high traffic areas are. See if you can get a booth in a high traffic area. Think about what Carrie said about positioning yourself out front of it. You don't want to be stuck at the corner of an expo paying the exact same amount that you could pay in a great location. So remember, location, location, location. So those are some great tips. And then, of course, I think Mike has probably more than anyone in the entire company proven that you need to be branded, the final B. And branding his truck there has definitely taken it to a whole nother level and be outside the box. I know you said that as well. Mike, great, great, great tips. Let's just go back through before we end this up. I want to say one quick thing on the expos and that I have done throughout the years, many, many years in this industry. I have found that it is very important in any expo, probably the most important thing, in addition to all the things that have been shared about making sure you're friendly, you're kind, making sure that you're positioning yourself right, you've got the right branding, making sure that you're collecting information as well as giving information. Have those cute little giveaways. If you can get them branded, great, but if you can't, Carrie's showing you how you could just have something. Be great to have your .com on there if you could. I know that might be a little difficult, but if you find those purple and orange things, just make sure maybe tape your card on them or do something that they remember that came from you. And then one of the other things that I think has always been the secret. You can walk away from an expo, a trade show, a garage sale with 150 leads. But if you don't follow up on those leads, you have wasted your time. Remember, it takes 8 to 12 touches before the average cold market person is ready to buy from you. Now, that doesn't just mean online. An expo is no different than you being fishing online in Facebook or Twitter. These are non-warm, they're cold leads. They don't know you, they don't know your brand. More than likely, they're just trying to figure out what you are and who you are. So great, like Carrie said, if you can get that sign them up on the spot thing. I just recently did an estate sale. And at that estate sale, I had some business cards. That's all I did, is I just had my business cards at the estate sale that just said Solavei on them. And because we're here in Seattle, people would come through and go, I've heard about that. What is that? And I never even talked to anyone, to be honest with you. But the gals that I had working the estate sale, they would say, oh, the owner of this house is actually an executive with this company. It's a new cell phone company. And they would go, well, what kind of cell phone company? And they would just sit there and go, really, honestly, I don't know anything about it, but if you'll give me your name and email, I'll have her call you because she's saving a lot of people money. That was it. So at the end of the estate sale, Denise Garrick, who works for me, she gave me these emails, right? And there was like maybe 5 or 6 of them, right? That night, the guy, I called him and he said, I want to sign up. He goes, I'm with T-Mobile, paying too much money. And all of a sudden, he said, I'm ready to sign up. Well, it took us about 4 or 5 days to get him through everything that needed to happen and signed him up straight over from T-Mobile, came over. So these are the little things that you can do. They don't have to be extravagant. I didn't have posters or billboards or anything. I just happened to put my card out at the estate sale. But most importantly is when you get those leads, follow up, follow up, follow up. Get every one of them into Outreach Manager. Bang. Most important thing, get them into Outreach Manager. Everybody say number one. Get them into Outreach Manager. Number 2, make sure that that Outreach Manager message refers them to your Share Solavei site so they can get those auto drips, 8 to 20 or however many you've got in there, auto drips over the course of the next 30 days. That'll keep doing those touches so you don't have to. And then make sure that when they go in and they opt in to share Solavei, they're probably going to give you their phone number. Make sure that you call them if they didn't give you the phone number on the original lead. Just make sure you're putting them in that cycle. If you connect with them on Facebook, even better. As many touches as you can connect. Take that cold market lead that's in your fishbowl and go fishing and use those systems to do that. If you're wondering how to do that, there's a training on empoweredliving.biz, and you can just go right on the home page. You can see get in, get social, get free. That's a 1, 2, 3-step training. In step 2, it tells you how to get social. There's a video there that Laura and I did that will help you tremendously. You can also see it on the video on the webinar page there as well. empoweredliving.biz/webinars. And you can check it out there as well. Okay, Laura, I know you're about to bust. Tell us what you got, girl.
Okay, yes. Oh my goodness, I love how you can read my mind. I'm like, okay. So a couple things, and a couple of them are going to be just like you said, but I want to make sure that people know, you know, booths and fairs can be pretty expensive, anywhere from $50 to $2,000. I mean, I've seen some pretty expensive ones, and to be honest, bridal fairs are typically on the higher end of the scale of how expensive they can be. So I want to let you know that, you know, if you have people in your area, obviously, that are in Solavei, whether they're your own team or not, even if they're not on your team and your network, collaborate together. Because when you go in with someone else, even if they're on a different network, still within Solavei, you guys can share those leads. Work out a system where you share the costs and split the leads. You know what? When the tide rises, all ships rise. In this situation, it's branding, it's getting yourself out there, and it's getting where, you know, one lead slip for you, one lead slip for them. But that'll help you reduce some of the expenses, especially if you're new in Solavei and you're not making thousands of dollars just yet. I don't want you to spend a ton of money up front without a guaranteed result. So go in with some other people. Just like Mike was saying too, that and you too, Stacy, but when you're doing a booth, you have got to collect information. A lot of people want to make sure they've got thousands of flyers and business cards and all this stuff, and to be honest, you could do a booth without a single flyer. The most important thing though is, like Carrie showed, I love that little lead slip that she has, and have a really attractive box. You can just make a cardboard box, wrap it with some wrapping paper, purple or something, with Solavei stickers all over it, cut a hole in the top of the box, and do a prize drawing for something. But make people want to put their lead slip in that box. And then always ask questions like Carrie had, and maybe we can get her to share it on in the group. Maybe she can upload that file to the group or something. But make something to where people want to fill that out, but make it quick. You don't want them to have to fill out this long survey, because they want to go through the fair and meet other people in other booths. So make something really quick. Name and email is most important. Phone number is great. Optional information is always secondary. You want them to fill out that form, put it in, and they're done with it. The other thing I was going to say is to wear something, aside from making your booth memorable, and we touched on this at Academy Sports. You can actually go to Academy, the Academy website. Ryan Lulf actually came up with this idea, and he shared it with the community, and everybody's loving it. For like $49 or something, you can get a purple giant tarp thing. And what he did is he actually went to the Solavei gear store and bought a pack of the Solavei stickers and super glued them onto the tarp. So he made his own thing for like $50. It does not have to be expensive. But more importantly, if you're standing in front of that booth and you're attracting people to you, you know when you meet people, you're going to be putting them into Outreach Manager, and you're going to be sending them a note, right? Well, sending them a note saying, I met you at the fair, that's great, but wear something memorable. Yes, Solavei branding is great, but I'll never forget when I did a bridal fair years ago. I actually wore, for those of you who know me, you're probably not going to be surprised, but I wore a headband with sparkly hearts on the top. And so I had this headband on all day long with hearts on my head, and they were glittery and they were just really cute. But every single time I called to follow up with someone, I said, you know, I was with the blah blah company booth at the bridal fair, and they were like, oh, okay. And I was like, I was the one with the sparkly heart headband. And they were like, oh, I remember you. it just kind of makes that bond where they remember who you are, and it forms that, it brings it back around to the relationship that you created with them when you were talking to them at that booth. They remember your face. They remember who you are. They remember your smile, your conversation. And that just makes it even easier and a little bit warmer of a phone call when you do go back out to reach out to them. So that's a couple of tips I wanted to share.
Yeah, that's awesome because, you know, just remember there's thousands of people that usually go through these events, and you want to make sure that they remember you however they do that. You know, you don't have to, I encourage you to go out of the box. You guys know I'm like shocked that Laura's like wearing something on top of her head. I'm like, yeah, girl. But really, just remember this is your chance. You're on display, and you have an opportunity. You know, there's so many little things that Solavei's offered that a lot of people haven't noticed. Like at the event that we just did in Las Vegas, all of us wanted to be branded, and I had this orange outfit with this jacket, and I took one of the little Solavei stickers and I put it on my white blazer, and it branded me. And I got more compliments on people going, oh my word, how did you get that jacket? How did you do that? And I was like, it's just the sticker. I stuck it on there before I went on stage. Just think out of the box, be creative. Another thing that just popped into my mind, you guys will see here, you can have, like, if you want to, if you have a power source, and sometimes you have to pay extra for this, but you can take a TV and think about all the short little 1-minute clip videos. You can put them on a disc and just have those videos playing. I cannot tell you how many times I've gone into I have a 23, 27-inch screen, something like that, in my kid's room. I'll just yank that thing out and stick it up under my arm and go in somewhere, and there I've got a TV set up that can run those videos, and I just do it right off my computer. So just think outside the box. What's going to give you that little extra sizzle? Because people, remember, there's a lot of people that are walking through just looking for free stuff, but every single one of them, even though they're not coming to the expo for you, they probably all carry a cell phone. So make sure you try to get their information and be creative. All right, Carrie,
I have some creative tips. I really have some creative tips. Think outside of the box in a lot of things. So one of the things, I'm known as the Solavei Cookie Lady. So my friend makes, can you see that okay?
Yes.
They're cookies with the Solavei logo. And I'll take these everywhere I go, and you'll eat one of these and you'll like want her card. And on the back of her card is also my information. So I know that they may not be interested at that point. Yeah. And when she gets calls for her cookies, she's going to let them know more about me, and they may have questions, or you know, but that is one of my things that, you know, I'm the Solavei Cookie Lady. So I love that. That's one thing that I do. And be creative in looking for places to go. So next week, the Federal Reserve Bank here in Dallas has sort of an expo for their employees. I think there's somewhere over 600 employees that's at this Federal Reserve Bank. You can reserve a spot for a few hours there. They only allow in so many vendors. And the employees love, like they're coming down, they want to see everything. They want to connect during that time. So be creative in where you go as well. It can be big and it can be small, but it is, you know, like I said, the cookies. Finding a little bit of creativity that's going to make you stand out.
Awesome. And maybe one final tip. Remember, you are your own business owner, and all this is a write-off for you. So make sure that you remember that as you're partnering with people, keep your receipts, keep the information. Every time you sit down with somebody, write their name on the back of those. I know a lot of people don't keep their receipts. That's a whole nother topic. Make sure you keep your receipts right on the back. Spoken from our very own John Locker, who went through a major audit and has given us some great tips on making sure you get the most of what you're spending right now with Solavei. Everything from those little streamers to those frisbees, all of that is a part of doing business. Even right now, we are doing business. We're sitting in our homes. We've got certain areas dedicated in our homes that become a write-off for us because we're in our own business. So there's so many things that we could continue to talk on. I'm excited. Ladies, you guys have been awesome. Mike Rogers, awesome again. Great, great tips. Expos, trade shows, garage sales, bridal fairs, you name it. Solavei has a place and a reason for being there, because 331 million people still need to know that Solavei's out there, and we're only getting better. So, ladies, thank you again. Remember, everyone, now is the time. This is the place. You are the one to start a revolution. On behalf of the Boom team, Laura Wells, and Carrie, and Mike Rogers and his incredible team, we want you to know that we are believing the best for you. See you next week. And tomorrow, make sure you tap in tomorrow night. We are going to be talking about nonprofits, letting you know some of the things that have been working. I'm going to show you some incredible landing pages that I've been working on, making them available to you, the graphics available to you, so that you can now begin to have an actual plan when you're connecting with those nonprofits. That's tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific. Thursday night, just go to empoweredliving.biz/events, and you can get registered there. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day.